Hi, just a quick update here on Mara. We're going into the opening of the 4th of June, New York Stock Exchange. So we can see, looking at Mara here, we've got three different liquidity indicators. We've got a time-layered liquidity indicator with the fattest line being the closest, the closest service, and the thinnest line being the furthest away, 500 moving average periods away. Then we have liquidity sentiment, which gives us a relative idea of where liquidity is now compared to where it has been recently. As we can see, it's still relatively tight, which we would expect at a level up this high. It's always relative to the price until people decide to dump, and we can see here it gets looser and looser as people were dumping out of this market. Here then we have the last one here is a regular liquidity, which is normalized over the days of the week just to iron out those different days trading and to give us a better idea of what's going on. Little interesting fact here is that as we've had this rise here in price, as we can see these rises here in price, the market tightened. We get reactive liquidity, and it tightens as the bid is as the ask is chased. Here we really had nothing. It's really stayed very flat. We've got really loose liquidity there. What's going on? Let's have a look in the back of the market. So let's start here. This is the this was the buying. This is the DPI here, dark pool indicator. It's showing what's happening in the HC markets, which a lot of dealers would be using, buying at the spread. At the centre of the spread. We can see as a percentage of volume, there was a lot of buying during this period, which is about right for the hedging that we would expect from that. Very interesting that since then, with this price here, although it's dropped, we've had dropping IV. Very strange. Market makers. Very similar to this period here. Drop, 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 drop. It's not rising. What's going on there? Very interesting. We've had very tight liquidity during this period. Next really interesting thing is, if I just turn this filter off here and look at all of these options, we can see that around OPEX, when we got to the top of this period in May, that all of a sudden a whole lot of these longs are closed. This is deep in the money calls, and we've got a whole lot of opened out of the money calls here. I would suggest that these were sold calls to pay for all of these puts here that we can see. So at the same time, we've had a whole lot of puts opened. We've had a lot closed yesterday. This is a time series matrix here. We've had the blue is the closing, and these are the deep in the money ones, but these deep in the money ones appear at the top of this market. That would suggest that they were bought puts, not sold. These are sold calls here, so they're enjoying the drop in the price before they have to buy them back. Here they're enjoying the increase in the price of these puts as the market drops. Yep, a lot have been closed, and the day before we saw quite a few closed in the bottom of that dip around the Friday the 30th. Very, very interesting. Let's just have a look at the shorter dated. Shorter dated tells us the same story. So here, about the 27th, we've had a large closing. We've gone from about 700,000 down to 500,000 in the shorter dated, and then we've had this large section of what looked like sold. And then when we've hit the bottom on the 2nd of June, they've closed en masse here. We've gone from 750,000 down to 570,000. Yesterday in the shorter dated options, we had a large closing. And so whether yesterday was a squeeze of these longer dated options here that we were just looking at, whether it was a squeeze of those options or whether it's some sort of other play, definitely the people who were holding the shorter dated options have closed them yesterday en masse. So we will expect possibly some more upside, but this is a very ominous sign here. This is suggesting to me that this market is a lot shorter than it was during this period here. I can't believe that these were sold puts. These look bought to me, so I would expect some sideways action, but I'd love to see a good squeeze. With these options being held here, they're probably of the opinion that we're going to have high rates for a period of time, and so all of these levered stocks are going to be paying a lot to hold their positions. And therefore stay flat as we've been seeing in the IWM. Let's see what happens. Happy trading for the 4th of the 6th and the end of the week, the 5th of the 6th, 5th of June. We'll catch you over the weekend or the start of the week to see what's eventuated in Mara. Thank you very much.